So, you know what really confused me a while ago was like when people said like find yourself, I didn't really get it. I was like, isn't that just like a West Coast concept? Because I'm from the East Coast. I was like, isn't that kind of like a West Coast concept of like trying to find yourself and going on an adventure to like seek yourself? And then I realized in college, like someone talked about like find yourself and she was from the East Coast, and I was like, well, maybe it's not stereotypically something just from the West Coast. It's just like a concept in general. And like my problem with like finding yourself was that like if you're like finding yourself on a map, isn't it just like realizing that you're there? Like you have a map and you're like, oh, I'm finding myself. I'm right here. I'm there. And I was like, that's not really anything. And then I thought about it a little bit deeper about like how finding yourself could be like the quest for self-discovery and that kind of thing. I understand a little bit better, like in terms of like assigning words to the concept. Like find yourself, I feel like it doesn't make sense to me as much as like saying like I'm going on a quest for self-discovery, that kind of thing. And I think that's something that we're all trying to do like in life, like trying to find our meaning, the meaning of our lives, trying to find like the deeper ideas of like why we exist, like what we're doing, what are our motives, what are like how some results may impact us, and like just going into like just living our lives. I mean, so when I was like in high school, senior year, like I remember this quote from like a French guy, from like a New York Times article, and it was like, vous allez trouver votre place, which means you will find your place. And I think like that's kind of like an interesting concept. It's like, you know, you will find your place in this world, right? Like you're finding your place in this world. What does that mean? Like you're gonna have like a space for yourself. You're gonna have a purpose, and you're gonna work at that purpose, and you're gonna like, you're gonna grow and you're gonna improve. But then I was like, yeah. So yeah, I just find yourself with something that I didn't really understand until like maybe a few days ago when I was like not that I'm actually found myself, but like the concept of trying to find yourself, which is like for me I would say it's like self-discovery, because I was like reading about mother-daughter relationships for my writing class, and it talked about how like, you know, sometimes like some daughters will feel kind of freer when their mother passes, because then it's like the cue for the mom is up and it's like your turn to like begin your journey. And not that like when your mom dies like that's gonna be your turn, but like it does give you that like gap, and you get that like it's like it becomes your cue, I guess. Yeah. I don't have a lot of like I have all these things in my head, but I'm not gonna like have evidence to show you like where I found the New York Times article, where I found the writing, because it's just more casual to talk in this way. So as a person, I can say that I'm really self-aware, and I think self-aware, even though like it sounds like the same thing as self-conscious, it's a little bit different, because I feel like conscious was like conscious and aware is kind of the same thing, but like self-conscious would be like you're kind of like timid and shy and like really like stringent, like really what's the word, like I'm just trying to say that I'm clear about myself, and not that I'm like negative or critical of myself like self-conscious would be, because I feel like self-conscious is like a more of a negative connotation, and self-aware is like a little bit more positive. And so what I mean by like self-aware is that like I can like recall like memories of my childhood, and like how like they could have like shaped and impacted me. And if I want to talk more about my childhood, I can like tell you like specific memories of who I was as a kid. I think like starting out when I was in like China, when I was born in China, my mom and dad like they both left me really early to go to America to like improve their career and prospects of like our family life. But like in China, when I was living with my grandparents up till I was like 6 or something, before I moved to America and immigrated, I was like a naughty child. I was like really chaotic, and with my 2 boy cousins, we really weren't studious at all. And I think it's kind of like an easier time for me. But then when I went to America, like my mom, like she really wanted me to be smart and improve my English and be an academic. And so that was like when I started realizing that I could become like a smart student and improve like my grades and like get into like a gifted program when I was in like 4th grade. in 4th grade, and then like go to IB when I was in middle school. And in high school it was a little bit different because I started school on a different foot instead of going to like a IB school, which I could have done. I just chose to go to like a normal school, but just taking advanced classes. And so high school, I just kind of like, but I still got myself situated and got to find like my college. And like right now I'm like in freshman year of college, and it's just kind of like I feel like it's been a nice journey. And like, let's see, like if I can think of any like childhood stories, let's see. So I remember like my mom, I loved hearing my mom tell me about what I was like when I was like a baby or a kid, or like things like memories that I wouldn't remember, or like her memories of herself, or like what people would say to her. And so like one thing about me was like when I was in like preschool, she would say like I would be so prepared as like a 3-year-old or 2-year-old child, and I was like get all my like school supplies, like my backpack ready right in time for her to pick me up. And I was like that type of conscientious child who like thought about like the next steps, and like really loved my mom, and like really looked up to her at a young age. And so like my bond with my mom is really strong. And yeah, I just like as a young like a preschooler, getting my stuff, like my shoes, my book bag ready, just waiting for my mom, for her to come to pick me up, and knowing that time and being obedient, like that type of child. And then I remember my mom said like when she was leaving to go to America from Wuhan, and I was like looking at her like going on a train to go on an airplane, to go like the train to the airport, and then I was like just saying "Mama 要走了." Like that would just mean like my mom is leaving, and it's just like kind of sad and bittersweet, because it's like I was a young child, and I was like getting this like loss so quickly just when I was young, and like not like a genuine loss, like she wasn't dying, but like this like temporary loss. Yeah. And so I remember like when I was like 5 years old, like I got into like just like little bits of trouble. Like I would steal money with my boy cousins from my grandma and like use that to buy like snacks, but it wasn't really anything major. And then when I got into like when I went to America when I was 6, I did a lot of my like started improving my writing and reading skills, because I was learning a new language like English, and it was like English is my dominant language today, but like at that time like my Chinese was also really good. And I thought like maybe my mom got me to read a lot because of like AR reading, which is like accelerated reading points, and you would read and you would take tests and you would get AR points, and you could use those points to like get prizes, which I thought was like a really good system. And then my mom would make me write on like this every Sunday, like in 2nd grade or in like 3rd grade, and I would like write a lot, and that like really motivated me to write a lot. And so it was like a task for me to do. It was kind of like a chore, but like on Sundays, because I didn't go to church, because I wasn't a church goer, I just had this writing thing, this kind of reflection, and I would make up stories, and my mom would be so pleased with like my imagination. I thought it was really cool, and I think that was like a really good thing. Like if you're raising a child, how about like letting them like write once a week, and like a page or two on a marble black and white composition notebook, this kind of thing, and that would really help them like write, because the only way to improve writing is just to keep on just to start and continue doing it. And in middle school, I remember like in 6th grade, I had my English teacher, and then I continued having this English teacher, but for another class, for a creative writing class, which was a class that I had to apply and get into. And it was really fun because like I got recognized, I got awards for my writing, and it was really cool. It's like to write every week and write about a prompt every week, and it was just a really good period of my life, like writing a lot, being really prolific during that time. I had like a huge pile, and I know like I had a lot of like journals. I was always a journaling kind of person. Like I had like stacks of sketchbooks and journals from my childhood. I don't have them with me in college because they're all at home in America, but like that kind of thing, like it's good to keep your memories in like a little book. I think that's at least for me, it was really therapeutic, and I would love to just like go back to my home and just like read them and like reflect over them and like look at the memories and like what I drew and what I wrote, and like it would be really cool. And so that's why like today I still like to this day I write a lot, and I read, and like to keep a sketchbook or a journal, and like just to remind myself like to reflect and like have this avenue of creativity, like this pathway of creativity to work upon. And I think that would be something that I would suggest to all you guys, just to like buy a journal or like a sketchbook and like draw and write, like maybe not every day, but like maybe at least twice a week, and just like have some way to like gather your thoughts and like keep them in a little notebook. Yeah. So so this talk began as like a self-discovery talk, but now I think it's just some more personal stuff about myself, like how I am as a person who's like self-aware and like knows about myself, but then again, like every day I'm just like trying to improve and like, I guess, yeah, self-discovery, that kind of thing. I think it's kind of an interesting topic. I hope you like this video. Subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you. Thank you for watching, guys.